If it happens, it happens.
Been sex with Randy. Yeah. Who's that puking in my chair? He's got lots of pubic hair and an erection.
Yeah, Randy, this surely is a dream. Dig it.
Yeah.
Gross. Pubic hair in your direction, erection. That's fucking great.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Conspiracy Randy podcast. We're just coming in hot on these startups here.
Coming in hot. It's fun.
I blame the caffeine.
I hope fucking Marcy Playground doesn't come back at us and be like, you can't use
Well, the nice thing is if they don't like that on YouTube, if they don't allow it, I am going to just put it all over everything else then, so fuck them.
Suck it.
Suck it, dorks.
Suck it.
If there was ever a band that I'm pretty sure I could definitely beat in a fight, it's that one.
Oh, yeah.
All
I
of
remember that video.
If you backed me in a
frail
corner and took all of Marcy Playground at me, like how many of them would it take to subdue me?
That's the...
It'd take like 50 Marcy Playgrounds. Like line them all up. Just a room full of them.
We need a plural playgrounds. That's the... I want to see that. I want to see Tyler versus Marcy Playground.
That is
They're all like hanging in the corner like...
That was the thing that I would always do with like either a bunch of us strongman competitors or some of the, like we'd go out to like the Massonomics parties and shit like that too. But we get a bunch of us like big, like way bigger than normal people know is around, all together at the same time. We go out and we start sitting at the bar and we just start looking around like, all right, if all 9 of us backed into the corner, like, do you think that like all of these people we could just like, how many of them would it take before they finally killed all 9 of us? And he'd be like, I think it would take 400 people. You know, there's times you're looking around, I was like, oh yeah, we would just start ripping these people.
We're talking like bare fists and stuff.
Yeah, just hand-to-hand combat. We're back in the corner like Spartans.
You know, a normal Tuesday at the Applebee's.
Yeah.
Get to the corner!
Yeah.
We need to fight these nerds!
Yeah. What else do you guys do after you eat your blooming onions or whatever?
I'm kind of fucking bored. Time to do some nerd bashing.
Listen, I had all the jalapeno pop. I came here to beat ass and eat jalapeno poppers, and I'm all out of jalapeno poppers.
Looks like they're all gone.
Guys, we have to. We have a couple clarifications to make from last week's episode.
We hate doing this because
No,
we're normally
actually,
right.
no,
all the
actually, we
time.
found these, and this was something. This was something we want to clear up regarding the poop in space.
Poop in
Space. An update, guys.
Sorry.
So the poop bags that Andy was describing was correct. However, the way that I described is how it's pretty much done now. There's a toilet they sit on, has kind of suction, goes into, I don't know how else happens. I don't really care. It just boils down to like, I was right. Just in the way that I think, just one more reason for me to know that I'm right about all of the things.
Yes.
Thank God. I don't know if I can handle otherwise.
I don't.
Now, the other thing is,
Just here to give you validation.
I look a little bit so the system you described was the system that was used during the Apollo mission. They put a bag, if you missed that episode, put a bag up to your ass and you just shit in it. However, we found more details, like lots more details.
Yeah.
First off, that's not a very good system, and there has been cases. You can even read the transcripts of the things of like, it's awful. We're never doing it. Like
The
shit getting out and floating around in particles and like.
Is it the transcript's like, dear God, who did it?
Dear God. Yeah, and it was, and then it was like never again. Where like it was this whole very serious thing. So they refer to these things as the Apollo bags. And they have now determined that like the current existing pooping system is truly mission critical, meaning that like they will abandon the mission immediately if they have to resort to the emergency, which is the Apollo bags. But like when they go to the Apollo bags, it's like, how do we get off this thing? This is only until we can get back home, right?
Right.
Which the other thing about the Apollo bags is one of the concepts is apparently in zero gravity, you have a difficult time getting separation from the poop in your body, meaning the turds don't have any pull to like be done with your butthole.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
So they have to like manually separate them, which means these bags have a finger slot in there where it's just like a little finger condom that's built into the bag where you got to go in and like just dig it out of yourself.
Coax it out.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Just
come
get
on
it all out of
there.
there.
Yep.
Which, guys, here's the thing. I've always said that there's a good chance space is fake, but there's a definite chance that it's gay. And we know now for sure that like literally you have to poop by fingering your own butthole. Like, it's like they made this up as a joke. You know what I mean? Like, are you just messing with us?
No, swirl it around a little bit. Yeah, that's it.
And also, not only that, what they have to do is, because the bacterial cultures, they're still alive, they can't just put it in a bag and seal it because it will grow and expand and give off gas. So what they have to do is then add like an enzyme mix to kill that bacterial thing. And in those bags specifically, you know how they had to do it? They just had to like squeeze all the air out and hope that they didn't get any spill out, which seems also really likely that you're gonna fucking like, this is ridiculous.
I mean,
this is the least efficient, least possibility of success that you could even think of.
What if one of the dudes just has, and I know they've got all this stuff regimented, they gave him a certain amount of food, a certain kind of food to make their poop
maybe
a
you
certain
shit
way.
once a week.
But what if one of the dudes just has, like, oh my god, I think I have diarrhea.
Yeah, but there's like three, but there's also like 3-4 people on these things.
Yeah.
So even then, there's like 3 or 4 shits got to happen every week if you can somehow get it down to that.
Right.
Like, I have no idea, but like
these dudes
now,
finger in their butts.
do you know they also
around.
have to mix the enzyme thing? They have to mix it pretty thoroughly.
So there was like 2 packets. There was like a dark green, purple one,
yeah.
and then there's one that looked like the little.
It literally is just toaster strudel
strudel.
style. I'm pretty sure that picture was of guys.
That
this
looked
is
like toaster
this
strudel
is
cream.
it's total bullshit.
Yeah.
This is how. I'm not saying that space is actually fake. I can't.
I mean,
I don't know. That seems like a stretch for me, right?
I just say it for to
Well,
fun.
I also say only things because I think they're funny or inflammatory. So that's like whatever.
Yeah.
Take this with a grain of salt.
Yes.
But like definitely, this is just one more indicator that like we definitely didn't go to the moon in the Apollo missions for sure. That's all. I've thought that for the longest time. And like I'll tell you guys, just separate from all the things that you were told about how special this was when you were a kid, and just look at the goddamn moon lander. Like the little thing goes, boop, boop. It's a piece of fucking garbage, dude. It's
like,
a pice of shit.
It's like an erector set.
No, this doesn't make. It's like made of like some scaffolding and some gold tinfoil, and like I don't even like it lands and there's no dust, no foot, no dent, no nothing, no dirt kicked up in anything where it sits. It's like they landed in it. They claim it like just landed on a spot that happened to just be solid rock, but then the footprints are like this big perfect indentation. The whole thing just fucking stinks to high hell. At the very least, it was so goddamn irresponsible to send people in that stuff.
Yeah.
If your smartest poop solution is to finger it out of your own butt and then get it in a bag, mix some juice in it, and then you got to mix it with your hand like mixing dough in this plastic bag. You have to mash it all together. That is part of the thing.
Yeah.
I read the whole
making
process.
homemade Play-Doh.
Yeah. This is fucking stupid.
Meanwhile, you're in a huge rocket orbiting around like the cold abyss of space.
Yeah. And this was our best and brightest? Come on.
No, that was the Nazis from Paperclip, and they're like, yeah, stick your finger in your butt now.
No, I'm beginning to think that maybe like the Nazis won the war and they just took over, like Hydra. Like now we come over here and we just make fun of Americans all the time. Like, yeah, you're fucking moon landing. Like, what the fucking wrong with these idiots?
Fingers in the butt. You have tang.
Well, that's the other thing, right? So the food in space is like this fucking silly little joke that they've invented. Like, yeah, so it's all freeze dried and you know all that nonsense. But also like they also send up Tang. Yeah. Like Tang was like the fucking space drink.
Yeah.
Why are we like when you're in space and nutrient matters? Yeah, it's calories and sugar, but like and nutrition matters. You should be concerned about like their actual health. You know what I mean? Or in some form, right? They do as much as they can to make sure they don't get like if they're really doing it, they do as much as they can to make sure they don't get like bone density loss and things like that from the rib. They do a lot to prepare their health for this. And I don't think that just like when space and weight and all of this stuff is like of the utmost fucking priority, right? When you're launching this thing into space, that like for drinks, we'll send them with Tang. Like what, you're just drinking Kool-Aid in space? That's what our smartest people nutritionally. So Kool-Aid's on the list. And
they did some weird shit. I mean, like this, we're talking about the times when like fucking doctors were smoking in hospitals. Like, how are you feeling?
I know, but this is,
have a tarlatan.
But it kind of seems like close to that anyways, where I'm like, yeah, so did you know that they used to like smoke cigarettes on the space missions? I'd be like, I'd be like, you know what?
First couple didn't work out so good,
Boom.
Wow.
I don't know. All I'm saying is the poo technology of the Apollo mission was so bad, of all of the Apollo missions, was so bad that if an emergency they had to use it, they would shut down all our current. They would literally like bring them home right now. I mean, mission critical, it's called. And going back to that would not be an option at all. And that first lander, by the way, this is obviously just subjective stuff. You can look into some of the actual evidence or whatever you would call that the moon landing didn't happen as it was described. But like definitely, this is just because like I think it's stupid. Like, I think that lander looks so idiotic that I'm like, wow, if you did that, you got really lucky.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't, I don't know that I would leave that outside in the weather here for like, you know what I mean, in the wind.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it could weather like our
fire that
winters.
thing into the fucking vacuum of space, right through the Van Allen radiation belts, like any amount of space debris, unknown variables. You can't really, like, come on, making micro, like, fuck off with that. And those are the people that best solution for poop is to finger it out of your own butt into a garbage bag and then slap it around and put it in a drawer for the rest of the trip. This is fucking dumb. Just think about that.
Slap it around and put it in a drawer. Beat it like it owes you money.
It's like every time we ask, you ask like an interesting question about like, how do they do this with this thing? It's like they came up with the answer like 2 years after the mission got over there. Okay, so people are asking about the poop thing.
Plus,
what do we say?
They asked like a 5-year-old too.
Yeah.
Your finger do it out of your butthole.
Yeah.
No, I still think though that the new technology is fucking sketchy and has. I mean, like with any space travel, there's a problem for something to go like way bad. You know, I know the suction thing's probably nice and safe, but what happens if something fucks up and all of a sudden your intestines just get ripped out of your beehole? Because like this, like.
Yeah, but they're not throttling the vacuum of space.
But I mean, what if something breaks and somehow like a pipe is connected to your butt, and it's
Dude,
like
how are you doing anything?
Space bidet.
Your big concern is like, all right, so this pipe breaks, and then I put my butt on it. And like, what the fuck, dude?
First off, who let you in space?
Yeah, this is how I know Andy doesn't get to go to space.
Because he's worried about pipes in his ass. Like, no, it got me thinking. I wanted to try like the Dyson thing, like with new Dyson space bidet technology.
If anyone wants to try,
stick your bum cheeks on.
Yeah, putting a Dyson like on your butthole, I'm sure that might probably turn you. That would turn you inside out. Yeah.
Dysons are too strong.
Yeah, for sure.
With new Dyson ball technology.
But again, you could just have like a hole in it, so so like all the pressure isn't drawing from your butthole. Okay. So if your butthole is shut and it can't suck anymore, it'll draw pressure out from holes in the air, from the air around it.
Okay.
And you basically monitor that air volume, so you're drawing the right amount of volume. So you get pressure where it works. Listen, I don't know, fucking whatever. This is probably basically what they use, because you sit on it just go in your bottle. What I'm describing is probably exactly what they would have designed for it. You're going to have some sort of negative pressure. You're going to have some sort of filter thing to catch it, clean it. Then you're also going to have some sort of pressure relief, because the seal will be weird. It'll never be perfect and things like that. Right. This isn't a fucking science podcast here, guys. I just told you that space might be fake or that it's for sure gay.
Then they have to
don't take my science word.
They have to strap in their Tommy Lee touring back.
Yeah, there is double seatbelts like a roller coaster. Yeah. They get on there and they're like,
all right, keep your hands and feet inside the shitter. This is gonna get wacky.
By the way, as a big guy, roller coaster safety, I'm never okay with, because I always am certain that I am definitely on the outside edge of what they designed the safety equipment for. I'm definitely taller than they wanted me to be and heavier. And so I get in these things,
water
and
slides.
And the ones where you're they start pushing down over your shoulders, the whole fixed thing's and it just goes. I just get one click, and the guy's like, all right. And he walks away, he's like, whoa, can we get another click? I get in these things, and I get as small as I can to just try to get as many clicks as possible, because I feel safe. So then I spend the entire thing knowing that I'm just one click, one little nick of steel away from this thing's flying upside down, and I'm literally hanging on though all 325 pounds of me are gonna flip out of this fucking thing, and I'm gonna have to be hanging on for dear life. And that's what roller coasters are like for me, which makes them extra scary and exciting. By the way, if you're a regular person, oh, this is cool, we're moving fast. I am literally I might fucking die here, or at least preparing for that possibility the entire time. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, guys, so I have high blood pressure.
Look over at your family and well, I might die. Jesus.
All right, should we talk about the CIA?
That's fucking awful. Yeah.
Guys, the CIA released this commercial, some crazy woke shit. I don't know if it couldn't possibly actually be a recruiting thing, because I think this really is made to get commentary on it. But this is everything from weaponizing progressive language to this just weird ultra thing. And let me just remind you that the CIA is probably one of the single most horrible, what's the word? I don't even, what term would you do?
entity.
Like literally a disgusting, monstrous thing that goes around and just disrupts things out in the world, has assassinated people, killing people, like overthrowing governments, torturing people, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people, and all sorts of other shady shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the CIA is not some fucking like pillar of like ethics.
Right.
This is literally the thing that when you think of the CIA, like, oh yeah, they got to do the dirty shit.
Yeah.
And
Black ops.
yeah, this is like, whoa, Andy.
Like, I don't. I'm sorry. No, it's seriously though. I was gonna say something else, but don't do it.
Are we gonna go all ops matter?
Fuck.
Damn it.
No.
Fuck.
No,
that's not what I meant.
Who gives a fuck if the CIA is diversified or whatever? There's still just a bunch of fucking monsters.
This whole thing, guys, we're gonna play some of it here. This is crazy.
They do horrible things.
This is crazy. So listen to this deal, and Andy and I'll give you our take.
Not mind at all. At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Sora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other. I am a woman of color. I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. I am intersectional, but my existence is not a box-checking exercise.
She says after checking all of the boxes that she could possibly check. What in the fuck are we talking about?
Just in case you weren't paying attention to all the boxes I just checked, but I'm not.
But I'm not trying to check boxes here.
By the way,
I'm a walking declaration. A woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences.
Like an
suggesting that
Australian?
a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA. My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke or slip through the cracks. I earned my way in, and I earned my way up the ranks of this organization. I am educated,
I torture
qualified,
people.
and competent.
Yeah.
I'm a
And sometimes
monster.
struggle.
I waterboard.
I spy
struggle
on
feeling
Americans.
Like I could do more, be more to my two sons. And I
We told
struggle
Martin
leaving the
Luther King
office
Jr.
when
to
I
kill
feel there's
himself.
So much more
Yeah.
to do.
That was the
I
FBI.
used to struggle with
fuck.
imposter
That
syndrome.
was the
but
FBI.
at 36,
They
I
suck too.
refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be.
What the
I am
fuck?
tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me. Full stop. My parents left.
I hate that so much. First off, why is the CIA making commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of against what
And
they're all about.
and considering that their like thing is this media control now, like this is like the messaging is very much intelligence messaging that we're getting. It's pro-war. It's what the intelligence community wants. That's who they have on all these major networks on. Like they call them intelligence analysts, but they're just former CIA fucking staffers, former CIA employees, and they're like. Now they're like talking about what we need to be doing militarily and in other countries, like on the news. And you're like, oh, he's an expert. I'm like,
building the
no,
narratives.
he's fucking one of them, you fucking idiot. Like you're literally letting the wolves tell the sheep what they should do.
God damn.
And what the sheep should think. Like this is fucking crazy.
Good Morning America is going to get way interesting in the mornings
Oh
now with
my
me and
God.
Mom. I'd be like, Mom, fucking A. Don't listen to George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't be a sheep. I just like the morning things. That Michael Strahan's a nice boy.
Yeah. So that I can't even describe how stupid I think that is.
Yeah, it was,
So
it was
this
a
is-
little much.
And a problem is like I get we need more compassion, inclusiveness, and all these things. Like it would be better if there was more of it. But literally only shining the light on that stuff is so stupid and divisive and pointless. They're like, that's not inclusive. Everything she's claiming is what makes her separate from other people. Whereas like, can we just talk about what we would relate to on? Like, also like, I have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. It's like, oh, that seems like a good job for someone who's a spy.
Yeah.
Like that's a good trait. Like I get a little panicky, but not too bad. And I save it all till I get home from my CIA job. Fuck.
Like, just,
Yeah.
just I don't know. You can have that any other thing, any other company. And I mean, all the companies are doing the diversity thing. That's
the important
that's
thing
what
to
they're doing.
notice. All of the major media, which we know is just problem, right? We know that they're lying in every capacity, right, left, everything, right? We know that. Because if you've listened to the show for this long, you can't argue with that. If you're still watching the news going, that's where I get my information, you can't. Don't. Or just stop listening to us. There's gonna be there's gonna be too much noise in your world. Like you're dismissing something that makes sense every fucking day if you're listening to us and absorbing all that bullshit. Stop.
Yeah.
All of the corporations are on board with that because the media's on board with it. And the government is on board with it, including the CIA. And they're putting it front and center. And this thing reads to me, have you ever seen those things where like artificial intelligence writes like a story
Like
or an ad
movies,
copy and
bots.
shit like this?
Yeah.
This sounds like AI took like all sorts of just woke shit in words and just strung it together.
I can kind of see
This
that.
literally, like, I that would be awesome. I'd be like, because it would be this thing like, look at how dumb all you woke people are. This AI thing came out, and it sounds exactly like you, just as insufferable and without purpose. Like, what are we trying to do here? You trying to get people with anxiety to join the CIA, or like, what are you talking
Right,
about?
because you'd have to work your ranks up through other like type jobs, like a police officer type. Right.
Yeah,
So
no,
we're
yeah,
getting-
but like this, I would say here's the thing. Before I lose the point, this exists in order to create trust in the intelligence community
yeah.
from these people, so that you won't have a problem turning in somebody who's not into the woke shit for whatever weird woke rules now that are going to be rolled or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You won't have a problem turning people into the CIA, the FBI, your local police over this type of shit because they've endeared themselves to you by using your language.
Yeah.
Like this is like 2, 3, 4, 5D stuff, I think, here, because they could just not do this. The CIA, like, is like an intelligence organization who manipulates media. They know what they're doing. This isn't an accident.
I don't remember any other commercial for them ever.
Army of one. Like, well, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least that makes sense.
Yeah.
Be a dude. Be awesome.
Yeah.
Support your country. This is like, I'm weird and different, and here's all the ways that I think that I'm still okay. And I'm like, well, just be you fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, what is this bullshit? This is so stupid. It makes me hate. I mean, just the state of the world is really, really fucked when the CIA is trying to tell people what compassion and like, how about all the brown people you kill and torture? And you're like, this is okay because I'm Latina. Get the fuck out of here. Like, this is not about her or her message. It's like, this is about the CIA here. Yeah. We don't let them talk from some fucking high road with us.
Did y'all forget what CIA did?
Yeah.
All of the time.
All of it. All of it forever.
Never forget.
The same people that brought you Operation Northwoods, the plot to try to bomb fucking American citizens and crash American planes with American citizens on them and blame them on Castro so we could just invade Cuba because the CIA wanted us to.
Get into a little war.
We should do some war stuff. The same people that sold fucking crack cocaine into Los Angeles for a decade and just like crippled generations of poor people and minorities. Like, this is the people who now get to get on some high horse because it's okay. We hired a brown person who's depressed or whatever, and a woman who can double duty poop and toddler stuff. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah.
How do you change a diaper with one hand?
Like her hand and the astronauts, everybody got shit on.
It's
them.
like
everybody's got poop.
my child doesn't poop, so this was just a pee diaper, which makes this system possible.
Right.
Whatever.
Like, that kid's gonna get a rash.
But this is just box checking. This was like 400 statements. This is, by the way, there's much more of this. I'm not going to play. But there's like 400 statements of just like woke buzzwords in sequence. Just like, burp, burp, burp. What the fuck? I don't know. I think it sucks. So we're going to do our own version.
In light of that,
Do you want to start or should I start?
No,
I'll
you-
start.
you can go first.
I'll go first.
are we doing I'm at the beginning of each one?
I don't know.
We'll feel it out.
We'll see. I am a fat, alcoholic, degenerate hypocrite who sometimes flushes the toilet before he's done peeing. Full stop.
I'm a third generation, fully functioning alcoholic.
Sometimes I'm too impatient to fully microwave my leftovers, and oftentimes I eat most of them almost completely cold.
I've puked in my garage no less than 4 times in the last month.
I am a failure by almost every metric that one would use for success.
I do not know someone that's been affected by mesothelioma.
One time I ate 13 McDonald's sandwiches in one sitting, and 4 of them were not even dollar menu sandwiches. They were big ones.
I can smell what The Rock is cooking.
I hate all of my friends.
I'm a questionable presence at a park.
I am not afraid to die, because I've been dead inside for 3 or 4 years at least.
I once met the drummer of Aerosmith in a Sam Goody.
I am a white, cisgendered male who didn't learn that mailman will pick up mail from your house until I was 25 years old. I thought it only was a one-way thing with your mailbox. And I didn't know what the red flag thing meant at all.
I'm a card-carrying member of the Subway Sub Club.
I joined the CIA because I really appreciated what they did with Operation Northwoods, and I also happen to sexually be attracted to Queen Latifah, and I'm not really sure why.
I'm an unironic Taylor Swift fan.
I know what it's like to drink away a hangover, and it's my preferred method of mitigating a hangover.
I'm a survivor of some weird butt injury surgery thing that I don't even know.
I have never masturbated in my entire life, not even once.
I spent 7 years in college and I'm not even a doctor.
I can move things with my mind. Not like big things, but like leaves and pens and shit.
I don't trust cruise control.
I'm just not really sure if it really knows that I'm doing 65.
I don't know.
I have been diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, but I'm pretty certain that I might just be stupid and lazy.
And speaking of, I don't know how to properly tie a shoe.
I have a decent sized penis, but due to the enormous size of my hands, most of my dick pics are totally hands off.
No, that's all I got. We went through the whole fucking thing on mine, dude.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Listen, this was fun enough. Like, this came out of me in like fucking 30 seconds. That's what I tell all the ladies.
Yeah.
But
We don't mean to check all the boxes, though.
yeah, I wasn't trying to just spill out my purse here. I also make 70 cents on the dollar for everyone else that works at the CIA. Ooh, sick burn. That statistics dog shit, by the way. You should look into that. The 70 cents on the dollar. thing is total farce.
Later date.
Total farce.
Oh man,
That was fun. All right. Whew.
what? Okay, I did some research into. Are we good to go? Do you want to play a song? It's been a bit of a hot minute. You got
I haven't
anything?
not yet.
Not yet?
Let me
Okay.
get into something quick. I want to clear something up also from last week.
Oh, we got another clarification. Okay.
Sometimes I take some stances that are contradictory to others, and usually it's because I'm a hypocrite. But I am consistent on this one. I want to clarify.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, hypocrisy is the name of my game. I'm sorry.
I do it all the
I do
time.
my best. I talked about in our kind of drug policy rant, right? About how like it doesn't matter what other people think in this regard, right? It's like, fuck you if you don't understand that decriminalization or at least that criminalization contributes to the problem, right? And my response is like, yeah, I don't care what people who don't like it think, right? But what I've said on COVID stuff very often is like, we need to speak on the terms that these people understand it, right? So that we can actually get on the same page, right? The difference is, I still stand behind my logic on both. The difference is with COVID, you need compliance for any of this to work, right? Meaning like you do need to like me to wear a mask and you need to convince me that I need to because you can't just make me, right? With decriminalization of drugs, if you don't like it, just what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like this doesn't affect you necessarily. Yeah, like you're just going to not do drugs. You're not going to go arresting people. Like what else? It's not a thing that you have to approve of in order for it to happen.
Right, because only you can not do drugs.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously, that still is like. I mean, just say no.
You want drugs to not be happening? Don't do them.
Just don't do it.
Start there.
Just fucking don't do it.
Maybe your kids won't do them, and then like, oof, you done all right.
Or maybe
There's 2 generations of people not doing drugs.
Look at you. Nicely
Home run.
done.
Y'all sound fun.
We're on the road to.
You guys sound like a real fun hang.
You guys must be boring.
Anyway, I just wanted to kind of clarify that logic because that does so that people understand when you are thinking through these types of things, like what does need to happen. And COVID stuff, that's a compliance issue. We need to comply if we're going to make this work, which means you do have to communicate compassionately and make me understand what you're trying to do and understand so I can weigh the odds for myself or weigh the cost for myself. With drug policy, it is like, what, are you sitting here saying the war on drugs has been good? You know, that we should go harder at? Like nobody, like if that's what you think, then you're just obviously not even paying attention and fuck off.
I think instead of a war on drugs, we should have war,
on drugs. Like
I think all the wars would stop if everybody was on
we should
drugs.
we should have the conspiracy Randy thumb war on drugs. A thumb war on drugs tournament. Man, what the fuck?
Oh, meth wins. No, I just think that like all the wars.
Steroids and cocaine won again.
Seriously? Yeah, dude. Like the front line, you got your tweakers, your cokeheads, all the fast ones just zipping about.
The weed guys and people on mushrooms are just losing every time. Fuck.
Right? Yeah. Fuck. Man, I did it again. The guys like doing heroin in the back have sage wisdom as they're slowly dying. Like I'm really cold.
The guys on Molly are like, man, you can just win. It sounds like you need it. It's all right. I love you.
Then they hug it out and get boners.
Yeah, the thumb wars turned into hand jobs. When it's on Molly.
Everybody's Dutch ruddering each other.
Thumb war on drugs, man. We do what we want.
Woo! Give hand jobs a chance. I am single-handedly revitalizing the workforce in America.
By the way,
via hand
did you know
jobs.
we went all of last week's episode without talking about COVID at all?
Good.
It is good, right?
I'm sure people get sick of it.
I think so, right? But I also, it's interesting for me because there is so much like, I don't know, it pushes into people's lives a lot. Like it is like kind of the thing that's in everything. I noticed this when I was listening to podcasts the other day, that like I couldn't go back to listening to a podcast that was before COVID, even an episode that was from a year and a half ago. It just literally isn't relevant.
It's just weird to you.
It's too different of a space. They're talking about things that people can't like. It's totally different, which is interesting. You know, it really is like content before. It just seems like,
God, what does that say? Like going forward, that it's strange.
Yeah,
strange times.
Do we just pack up and start moving forward and be like, we're done with this?
Well, I mean, in a sense, since we didn't talk about COVID the last time, we're just kind of going with the flow with everything. I literally heard on whatever news mom was watching yesterday where this guy was like, we're rounding the corner. That was the phrase used.
Yeah.
But then like a half hour later, they're like, meanwhile in India, this third variant is going to fucking kill you if you don't stay inside.
There always has to be a boogeyman in the back pocket. It's murder hornets. It's just, there has to be something. And they throw them out there. And if it fires up, they milk it. You know what I mean? Like the tits get full, man. You got to milk them.
Big, juicy titties.
Big, juicy, fear tits.
Look at those warlocks just flopping up and down, spreading fear and eroticism. Oh, my narps. Speaking of narps,
Let's talk narps.
This your thing? I wanted to expand on something we talked about, or I've talked about before. Remember when I got pissed about those videos of ladies going to stores and then showing their butts and boobs?
Now you're into it.
Well,
okay, I love it. I give it a few tries.
So I figured out that one, and I told you about this the other day, but one of the people doing that is a candidate for governor of California, Mary Carey.
Oh, they're gonna say Caitlyn Jenner.
Well, no, she is too.
No, I know, but like flop it out in the store. That was like,
oh my god.
That's what I thought you were going for.
Oh, no.
Okay. Right.
Sorry. Oh,
Mary Carey is also a porn star. Like an old, not around anymore, I think, but like was in the past.
Yeah.
2000s era.
Something like that. Yeah, but it's legit. So I just got to researching how many times this has happened before, and it's definitely not the first time like a porn star has been elected or tried or any of this shit. So it's just kind of wild to me, like the porn star party. Like that's a party I could get behind. But no, for real, dude, like she, out of one of some kind of primary or some shit, there was like 130 some candidates and she placed in the top 10. So I started getting to thinking, in today's day and age, if you're gonna like fucking run for governor and then maybe eventually run for president,
lead with a sex
tape.
Do
you want to be like, hey, look, this is me showing my boobies in the dairy department.
We will get an AOC sex tape, by the way.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there'll be something that sneaks out, and then you'll be like, yes, vote for her for president. because if you're like, that's terrible, then you're shaming her, and it emboldens her fans, and then people will take to that too, and then it's just it would be the perfect formula for her. Release a sex tape, you'll do the Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian thing all the way to the presidency, once she's old enough. Yeah.
Okay.
For president, she's old enough for sex tape, but
she's old enough for president. Party. No, like it's wild. I got most of the people that were in politics, that were in the porn industry, like were in Italy. There's a lot of people in Italy, like old
Rocco
actresses.
Siffredi, mayor.
They legit had a political party called the Love Party, and they were pushing for like more brothels, more like openness. Love parks was something that came up. Like you just go to the park and like fuck.
Well, what else do you do at the park?
You're hanging out with your kid. There's the people.
Well,
like,
you don't bring your
doing
kid to that park.
69 on a gazebo.
Oh, so it's like an adults only park though. Like for sure, no kids.
Yeah.
Oh, we would see people like fucking on the beach and shit in Austria all the time though. You know, like the wife and her friends were out there doing the paddleboarding thing, and some guy was like getting up after like fooling around with some other dude. And then he gets up there and it's just but dong like 3/4 of the way to his knee. It's like, what in the fuck? Just hanging meat on the beach, dude. If I had that much dick, I'd like walk home with it. Like, hey, whatever, dude. Here we go.
I'd purposely bump into people. Sorry about that.
I would accidentally leave my zipper down with it out all the time.
See, that's too dangerous for me.
Yeah, you could probably catch a charge for that, huh?
Well,
You could play. It could be an accident once, right?
Hey,
sorry.
No,
Sorry.
Just like start talking like some other language, like you don't get it. Oh,
It's
hey,
like, dude, you're a school bus driver. Oh yeah. No, it's an accident. No.
God damn it, Gary.
But the other thing is like getting into local politics. Sometimes you just need a recognizable name because there never really is. Very few people go out and vote on local issues, right? That is actually the one place where, as people, if you want to have like power in your community, like you can actually run for local stuff. You can run for mayor, run for city council, run for county stuff, and you can start to actually like make some differences in that. Like that's how you make real change. That's what people don't like. That's a voting system I would support. Voting for president is fucking stupid, especially if you live in a place that's all red or all blue. It's just a waste of.
It's already made up mind for you, basically.
But I do think that is a space where you can really make some ground because you don't need a ton of financial backing. You get a little momentum within any party or on your own. Like, come on, like most of us are better at marketing and social media and creating fun, engaging content that moves the needle than any fucking base level fucking local or regional politician.
Yeah.
You know. And the amount of money it costs somebody to do for, say, like a state level stuff, that's a lot, but then the party is involved by then. And they do spend a lot of money on stuff that's not interesting and isn't good. And
like stuff you don't remember.
Yeah, it's all done. And so very few people go out and vote for primaries, very few people show up to vote for these things. All you got to do is be exciting enough to get people interested in you, and enough people can come out and you can overthrow the system. I mean, I think here, I could be wrong, but I bet if you got like 2,000 votes, 2,000 to 3,000 votes probably, I should not speak out of turn in this, but like, I bet you, like 3,000 votes would get you mayor in town here. It's 25,000 people here. How many show up and vote for mayor? Yeah, what? Not 5?
Definitely not the full. Yeah.
You're like,
yeah, dude.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Nobody gives a shit.
Sorry.
Randy for mayor.
I guess you got to be Mary Carey with your boobies hanging out.
But you know what I mean? But like you might just have, if she is here, she just might have 10,000 weirdos. You're like, yeah, fuck it.
I'll vote for her.
Nobody's wife will be approved, but like, that's why ballots are private.
Yeah.
Also, there's a bunch of dudes just really getting involved in local politics.
I fucking love politics. If you think about it, I mean,
politics.
Like, nobody can come back after the fact and be like, "Hey, you've been in a video." She's like, "I fucking know."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, that's where you become. That's where you do
done.
kind of become almost bulletproof on a lot of the fucking like PC bullshit. You're like, yeah, I don't care, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't do it anymore. I'm just an empowered woman who fuck. Seriously though, like they make. I don't know how much money they make. I guess I shouldn't speak out of turn.
And it's very little, and it's very little residual stuff. It's hit and then done. Like most of them are paid. I suppose
since most porn's like fucking free, like you can get a hold of it. Like
well, and a lot of them sits now behind pay sites, but the free stuff enough makes the actual. They'll get paid to do the scene, and very often that's it. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
pornography, Randy.
Well.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
What do you got, Andy?
I got the universe following us around again.
All right, how's it doing?
They're just taking notes. I don't know if we actually talked about this on the podcast. I know we discussed it in private conversations, but I mentioned to you at one point it's only a matter of time before something happens between Seth Rogen and James Franco.
Yep.
And fucking lo and behold,
Rogen sold him out.
Now he's like, I'm never gonna work with him again. I'm never gonna do this. They're gonna do that. They had him on fucking Good Morning America, ABC. Like I didn't even watch the fucking interview. I don't know if
But
they
Seth
talked about
Rogen
it.
is this weird woke shill. Like if you see, like I try to stay away from when he makes news because when he makes news, it's just this stuff. It's he's complaining at somebody or like showed somebody what's up on Twitter.
Fighting,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like being catty and was the right guy, and everybody's
Yeah.
like, "I love Seth Rogen." Like it's this non-news, but he says it to get talked about.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. Like motherfucker, you fucking knew. This was your boy
Had to
for
have.
decades, dude. You were
Right.
doing all of these things with him and never even said a word until the noise came. And you had to be like, I am on the other side of this now. And now you cut ties? You fucking knew.
Yeah.
This is the problem. People try to do this courageous shit with very not courageous timing. The same type of thing happened with this stuff that, with like Greg, the guy that started CrossFit. This was like, he was like, got basically canceled this summer for, he had a couple things where he was like making fun of the COVID stuff and comparing it to the George Floyd thing or something. It was whatever, like a tasteless joke that didn't work. And then it comes out a bunch of like weird, like kind of like creepy sexual harassment type stuff, but nothing like, more or less like him just talking mean about chicks. And like, it's hard to say what was valid and what wasn't, to be honest with you. It didn't sound like anybody was hurt. Like, you know what I mean? I just thought he was like not a good guy socially with it. But anyway, either way, like a scumbag. The problem is everybody knew that. I knew it for years. And like in having owned a CrossFit, like I knew this. Everybody knew that he was like this. He was like this fucking super rich guy who kind of like his thing popped off. He's just a wild party guy, kind of a dirtbag, and always keeps hot chicks around the office. Like everybody knew that. All of a sudden, now that there's heat on him, all these people took these great courageous stances. Now I'm going to quit working for CrossFit HQ.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You worked here next to him for fucking 15 years, 10 years, whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here. So you're taking these courageous stances with the most cowardly timing ever.
Yeah. Well,
It's real tough right now, Seth Rogen, to shit on
interesting.
James Franco. You wouldn't do it 10 years ago, and that's what said your bread was getting buttered on.
All right.
Bitch.
What's interesting about that though is, and this is probably just the conspiracy side coming out, but he also has released, this is like within the last day or two, but a photo of himself without glasses and his hair
And
is straight.
shaved.
Did you see that?
And
he's-
shaved. Yeah.
So I started thinking about it. I'm like, why would these two things come out in such rapid succession other than he wants to just kind of
Completely detached.
flood like like let's forget about this whole Franco thing. Look at this image because he fucking did do that. He sold out his friend that he completely knew what the fuck was going on. It's like, no, I can't stand by that. Just fucking sucked. It was disheartening. And like it just, like you said, like he's just a name. He's just a name brand, a face. Like I've got my own line of weed. I'm like, fuck, dude. I go find my friend Gary in the alleyway. He get me weed out of a can. I don't fuck, There's no Gary, by the way.
There is something like really, I don't know. I think he could have just said nothing too. Like maybe he was your friend. He made a bunch of horrible mistakes, right? Yeah. I don't even know what it was. It was just more like kind of a dirtbag. I didn't see any like violence or like, you know what I mean? I just think he like used his power to try to like coerce chicks to fuck him. Yeah. And was maybe aggressive. Through this, I don't know. Well, maybe I'm making it on.
I mean, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, like, he had this acting school, and this is
and he
was
was
like allegations. It was like orgy scenes. Who does that? Who starts an acting school?
You and I, if we started an acting school, would be like, everybody, we're doing orgy scenes this week.
Welcome to the Thespian Randy School of Acting and doing other shit.
I don't want to defend this because I'm sure the execution of this was done in a way that is not what I'm going to describe. But one of the things in acting is you do have to have love scenes, correct?
Yeah.
And I would say that in every movie, it's some sort of story arc. There's going to be some sort of two-person thing, right?
But an orgy?
Well, how else are you going to have your 25 acting students fucking get practice? Because they're mostly going to kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know. Listen, I don't know how to do this. How are you going to teach? How are you going to do that in a class?
It's a giant fucking casting couch, dude. He's like, yeah.
But I don't think they were having to fuck. I think it was like kind of the thing. Listen, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here.
Yeah, no. I just think it's interesting. Like, like.
That's also exactly what I've been doing. Like, okay, if I start an acting school, I'm like, you guys want to have like a fucking total fuck fest?
Like reading off
if people are like, yeah, I'm like, okay.
So we're gonna do some Shakespeare, a scene from Kramer versus Kramer, an orgy, and like what?
Let's not pretend that I know anything about what would go on in an acting school either. Like, how do you teach action
or
stuff?
orgies for that matter?
How do you teach violence?
I touch?
You know what I mean? No, but how do you teach that stuff? Like, how do you do any of that? I don't know.
How do you do love scenes without getting a boner?
Well, how are you going to teach people how to do it in an acting school?
Okay.
Well, no, you can get a fucking boner when you're acting in a movie trying to simulate fucking.
Do you think
that's okay?
Maybe
people just tuck it.
what if that was like part of the syllabus, so people knew what they were getting
Exactly.
into?
Now, I don't need to defend it because it sounds to me also like a total bait and switch, and he's trying to be creepy. But like, I don't know. So, but the whole thing to me is just like, Seth Rogen, you knew, you weak ass little bitch.
Yeah.
So just like, so you knew your friend was doing this type of stuff. Maybe you didn't know the extent, but you knew it, and he was your friend during this entire time. And I don't think is anybody saying that he's an monster. I don't know, and maybe I'm defending something that is really terrible because I have not read up on it because I don't normally hit these things up. But like, if anyone's saying he like really was like hurting people or like, you know, what was the damage here? I don't know. What was the damage? I don't know. But so Seth Rogen could have just shut the fuck up. You're my friend. Maybe I don't need to take a stance against
No comment is, you know.
Yeah, like, listen, he's my friend. I don't understand what all the allegations are. You know what I mean? Like, it's not me to speak on.
You can't fucking do
because
that, like, in this
you
day.
can.
Oh, it sucks.
Just keep
No,
your
I mean,
fucking mouth shut,
I know,
Seth.
I know. I'm just saying,
Seth
like,
Rogen needed to make sure that he was talked about now. He made it about him. This is about Seth Rogen now.
I don't know, dude.
Fuck that guy.
We're just in this culture. Like, it was like a fucking month ago when Sharon Osbourne got called out for defending Piers Morgan or some shit.
Yeah.
She's like, he's my friend. He's been my friend for like decades. I
Yeah.
mean, like, we both say equally horrible shit all of the time. I am fucking pretty much a scumbag, you know? So if he was like, oh, that Andy guy, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And you know, and I know, and like, fuck, it's like, whatever, dude. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a legit point.
Whatever it is
Whatever,
what you have to
dude.
say. Listen, Seth Rogen, nothing he's going to say is going to get whatever justice or vindication done for anyone who's a victim or alleged.
Well,
Like,
wasn't-
I don't even know what the. So, like, he's not helping the victims at all with this stance. He is not helping or doing anything but like making himself look like an asshole in regards to his friendship with James Franco or whatever. Like, now it's just like, ugh.
Did this just start because there was a bunch of rumblings from like NPCs and stuff about like, hey, how come?
I'm sure he was getting asked a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And he has to be like, I never knew. Now I'm going to shave my face so I don't even look like the same guy that was in the movies with him.
Look at me, forget about that stuff.
Forget about that guy. Look at that.
Whoa. I kind of started thinking that he's pretty much close to starting to do the Sandler thing anyway.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
Well, that's what
mark
I'm
my
thinking.
words. Rogan's gonna start pumping out some like family friendly, like, oh fuck.
Or even like,
You know, like-
or even like just any stuff that's on his own. You know, if he was going to start doing a bunch of his own projects, there's money and studios that need to be behind that. And so I'm guessing anyone that's like, we got $100 million riding on this project of yours, dude. You better publicly separate yourself from this thing right now because you're getting asked these questions, which means we're getting asked these questions, and we are the woke Hollywood crowd. We have to fucking diffuse this.
Yeah.
In our defense, that's the problem. Everybody made it about them. Nobody made it about the victims. That's the fucking problem. How do we make sure this doesn't happen again?
Don't
Again,
let
we're
James
only,
Franco have an
again,
acting
all we're building
school.
is consequences, right? All we're building is
yeah.
consequences. Yeah, fuck him. Let's fuck him harder. Hey, I think we should fuck him too. Yeah, fuck him.
We're part
I
of
don't
that
even
too,
like him.
I don't like Seth Rogen anymore. We're part of the. We have
course.
become part of the problem.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so our orgy acting school starts tomorrow. Sign us up.
Bring galoshes.
It's gonna get moist. All right, I have to cover some fucking weird anti-vax stuff.
Fucking anti-vax.
All right, my stance now is that it's really stupid, like, and lame to care about either side of that issue very much. I think at this point,
To the point where it's like your identifiable thing almost.
is enthusiastically pro-vaccine, in which I mock people who fucking don't. So you want to lump every person who like just has weighed the cost for themselves and is like, nah, I don't want to take it. I don't care. I feel fine. I'll take my chance with COVID. You're going to lump all those people in with crazy people worried about getting microchipped and blah 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 blah. Right.
Right.
And then on the anti-vax side, and me even using that title sucks now because it's just the easiest term
So
for me to
demonizing.
use. Yeah, it's branding. It's just like, this guy's a fat person. This guy's a racist. This guy's an anti-vaxxer. It's just stupid. But I think that the people that are so enthusiastically anti-vax either start lumping onto these things where both sides now are presenting really stupid arguments, and like they're just trying to do this clapback stuff. We're like, this, you need to hear this. Oh, it's the fucking worst. The day you start doing this, you're typing, just fucking stop, dude.
Right.
Like, if you talk to someone like that, don't talk to me like that. I'll knock your fucking teeth out, dude. Don't even start with me. That's not how we talk.
A lot of keyboard warriors out there.
Lot of that shit. And also it's like the anti-vax joke is like that thing. Like, oh, the government's gonna track me. Ha ha ha. And like very few people who are not going to take this vaccine believe that. Like, Very few. Only the most extreme. And that's the problem, though. There are people that'll go that far, but it may even be because you're presenting this argument. Like these things feed each. You're presenting the argument. They hate you so much.
Yeah.
And then the problem is in the meme space, things just feed either side of these extremes very effectively. So it's the extremes that get amplified via memes. So there's this shit now that I see. The worst like anti-vax shit that I see is like the magnetism shit. Like now there's people trying to put this stuff where a magnet now sticks to the site where I got injected. It's like, I think that's just a couple posts someone made that was fake. And now they're like running away with them. Like, come on. Like that seems hard to believe. That seems difficult. Do you know how fucking syringes and shit work? Like, what are we talking about?
I saw, and I don't believe it for a fucking second, but I think it was Vice. They're trying to share this article that there are anti-vaxxers that are now wearing masks supposedly because they feel vaccinated people could pass on some
they talked about
attributes or some shit.
Yeah, now the issue was, let me sort this out, right? Because there was people who were saying that like, oh, well, people who, so anti-vaxxers were saying there was an issue with shedding of the spike proteins from people that have been vaccinated, that eventually they can shed them off in their presence, just normally, and that you contract them. Now, they by the way, this isn't just made up. This isn't something, this concept that just was materialized out of complete nothingness, where you're like, people who actually have not taken the vaccine aren't going to get sick from people. You know what I mean? They're not going to get vaccination poisoning from people that have. That's stupid. Yeah. Well, obviously, but look into this thing, right? So the claim is, by the way, let me clear this up. The claim is actually, goes back to a Pfizer document from Pfizer that says during their trials that there was an issue of the spike proteins getting basically on other people, but it wasn't via shedding. It wasn't via you got the vaccine. It was actually from handling the vaccine in physical space. Meaning like, so if you're the nurse and things like that, you're going to be pulling it out and opening the plunger and things like this. Some of the things need to be, so there's the possibility of simply by administering it and being around people doing it, that the vaccine itself can be in there and that can administer, not make you sick, not poison, but like get the spike proteins or whatever interacting with your body. That's it. Now, people that are taking that too far are like, now I'm going to be impotent because I hung around with you or whatever. Or my kids are going to have a miscarriage. I don't fucking know anything about any of that. But that's the point of people. You heard exactly what you wanted to hear, so you shit on these people, not you. Those type of people. No, and then these people read exactly what they wanted to hear when it said these spike proteins to get on people for just being around the vaccine. Not vaccinated people, but that's the thing. They didn't fully read the thing. And neither did fucking you. And you're both just arguing with each other from a distance, a very, very stupid stance that's pointless. Yeah. And y'all are trying to be funny, and y'all are trying to be fucking like super conspiratorial, and it's fucking pointless. It's the dumbest sets of people. The people that are enthusiastically pro-vaccine and the people that are enthusiastically anti-vax are, by the same definition, completely non-player characters right now. And I think that meme culture was the thing that we had talked about, how fast it is. Literally, I find myself reposting memes that are funny because something encapsulates a concept very well. Like better than, like, God, that's fun. It's a great way to say it.
Indubitably.
But you find yourself, I see people do this because they work, they move the needle, they're popular. I now find myself posting on my Instagram stories like 2 to 4 memes a day.
Yeah, you do.
But at some point now, how much is that the equivalent of saying like movie quotes instead of actually having a conversation or being funny? Like, why don't you say it?
I guess that is.
So, and that's how this bad information gets all these legs, because it kind of covers a thing, but it's maybe incomplete, relates exactly to me and the way I think, and I dump this out there, and it becomes this way of, not intentional, but this like stupid way of brainwashing yourself into being a total non-player character. I could read 100 memes that are specifically meant to agree with me on things, right? And like all 100 of them. But because they're so incompletely presented, I'm going to get all this action on this one fucking tract in my brain that is like, oh, I'm just warming that one up. And like, I do think that, so that short digestible shit I think is bad for you. That's why podcasts that are long length, good conversations, are much more valuable than 7-minute segments full of talking points on TV, right? It's for the same reason. So guys, it is really dumb to be super enthusiastic about literally anything, unless you made it yourself. Dude, if you made this vaccine and you're stoked about it, dude, right? Yeah. If you're like, dude, this is like one of the greatest turnarounds in fucking a need, via a medical need, and turning around a vaccine and getting it distributed in less than a year. It's like half of the population. Like, this is an incredible scientific achievement. If you did that, fucking high five. Yeah. Whether the risk, whatever, that's whatever, but having turned out, high five on that.
You did that.
But you didn't. So go cunt someone else's space up, dude. It sucks. I fucking have to. So I have to unfollow. Like I mute most of these people on Facebook and Instagram because I don't want to hurt their fucking feelings. But I'm just like, poof. I can't. It's so unconstructive and pointless. And then the jokes that either side even try to make about the other are so uninformed because they haven't even considered what they're thinking or how they got there. But again, you didn't make this vaccine, so quit riding its dick, dude. It's fucking lame. It's like a man wearing another man's jersey. You know what I mean? Like, I've done it too. But like at some point you're like, I'm wearing just like a quarterback's jersey. I'm wearing like some fucking 5'11", fucking 200-pound dude. Like, who can throw a ball? Like, I'm wearing his shirt with his name on it. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. That's lame. I mean,
that's human nature. Everybody's way too impassioned about stuff they know little to nothing about, but think they do. Like, I don't know. just with COVID and vaccines in general, fuck. I mean,
we hear what we want to hear.
I do not know. The hypocrisy won't stop ever.
No.
There was this person.
You should hate everyone who's talking about this stuff now, right?
There was a person that does the, like, you know, when they have a story and it's just like tiny. He's like, oh my God, what are you talking about? But this person's very impassioned about anti-vaxxing and all this stuff and going after people that are taking vaccines, but then follows it right up with like, anyway, here's some astrology shit. Like, Jupiter's in the second moon right now, so I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, you're like, if you believe Jupiter's real, you're in a fucking cult.
Oh my God. It's just like,
yeah, I feel you.
The most like open-minded people like shit on things, but at the same time, also dragons are real.
That's my thing, is I don't even know which way is right on either thing. It definitely isn't what either of the most extreme people are. It's, guys, the case is definitely not, this vaccine is totally safe over the long term and you know it. That is not true. Nobody knows that. No, it can be relatively safe. There can be risks, but you do not know the long-term effects. Don't pretend like you fucking do. Now, that is okay, but saying vaccines are safe, everyone should, like, you don't weigh the cost for me. Saying that all vaccines are safe for everybody is not reasonable science. It is stupid science. Orange juice is not safe for everybody. We've said it before. Peanut butter is not fucking safe for everybody. Fuck you. And on the other side of this, if you're just shitting all over fucking all vaccines and just latching onto anything, by the way, talk about psyops, it's like CIA ops. You can just plant some pointless, super false, but very, what's the word? Appetizing content for anti-vaxxers, and they will gobble it up and spread it like wildfire, which invalidates all of their shit. If I was working for a pharmaceutical company and wanted to make my shit like ironclad and make sure the people that were against me are not believed, I'm going to put out a few viral videos of somebody sticking a magnet on their injection site, be like, holy shit, because these fucking fools will just run with it. And I was like, well, there should be a lot. Go to the doctor and get that checked right now. Go to the cut that out. Let's check this. You know what I mean? Fuck you. Like, it's so crazy. One of the other things I hate the most that the anti-vax people do is they do all these talks where they'll zoom in on like the celebrities getting their vaccination, which is stupid. That's the same thing. A celebrity who's super enthusiastic. Everybody get vaccinated. Look at, like, fuck you for liking. You know what I mean? Like that's so pointless. There was a Selena Gomez thing called Vax Live. She's like, if you don't want to take the vaccine, I'm not going to tell you that you need to. I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm going to beg you. Please. It was this self-important. She's like, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here. Like, what the fuck? Oh, I should listen because Selena, like, this is pointless people, like, that are just spreading the information. It's dumb. But
I like that Selena Gomez
But the thing that people are saying about the celebrity stuff, so the wildest anti-vax stuff are like, zoom in and they try to show like they think that it used the needle that pushes in like they use in movies, or it's not real, or that there was nothing in it. I'm like, guys, even if you're like going to, let's pretend that the vaccines are all poison, right? It's gonna kill you. And you don't want to but you're gonna have like politicians and movie stars like shill it for you. You don't need to turn a camera on and use equipment that's faulty. And, you know what I mean? You could, like, you know what I mean? That would be caught on camera. Like, you don't need to shoot in it. Like, why don't you just shoot water? And, you know what I mean? Like what the fuck are we talking about? Like, if I had to do that, I would not use an empty needle or a collapsible needle. I'd just inject a tiny little bit of fucking water in them so something went in them. It's completely bulletproof. Like, it's the dumbest. You just have to think a little bit. Like, this would be the dumbest plan for how to, like, make sure I don't give Mariah Carey fucking the vaccine disease or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just shoot her up with fucking water and move the fuck on. Yeah. Like this is like, it's just pointless logic. But I see so much of that stuff running, so much of the pointless shit running. By the way, I didn't see any of the microchip shit from anyone reasonable until after a bunch of the fucking pro-vax stuff started barking about it. Like that was some like antiquated, like old timey like thing about vaccines. Like, oh, they're gonna shoot you up with a microchip. Not even what they were gonna use vaccines to do it, but that they were going. That was just like a goal, is like a tracking device that can monitor your kind of everything, your whereabouts. You could do your financial stuff. Becomes a
Fuck, they can
everything chip.
They're gonna get super bored if they pull that shit on me.
Yeah, but that doesn't need to be done with the vaccine. You could just mandate that like everything else. Like, so like the fact is, if you are super anti-vax, you're being a cunt. Just like don't take it. And maybe talk to people you love reasonably about it. The people on the other side, there's no reason to even shit that far on people on the other side, because you're never gonna walk them back from their weird little fucking science religion cult.
I think if this episode has taught us anything, it's a shitty world, and there's shit everywhere.
Yeah. And then on the other side, like if you want to get the vaccine, like encourage people that you like, and they're in your world, like compassionately to get it, or explain to them how you weighed the cost. Don't talk about how these people are idiots, because trust me, you guys are so far from communicating on any sort of reasonable common ground that it's a waste of everybody's energy. So if you want more people to get vaccinated, don't bother with those ones. And maybe quit making fun of them, because it makes you look really unappealing and fucking shitty to normal people who maybe are on the fence. It's like, well, this guy's being a cunt about people who don't want to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
So it's my thing. Like once the media starts pushing a subject, I push against, right? I'm like, I don't know, something's fishy.
What's the
narrative? Once people are acting like cunts and they're in favor of something, I want to push against that a little bit. I'm like, hold the fuck on here. Like, some of these people, like, were you never rebellious when you were growing up? You never questioned information?
Yeah. Remember when you used to hate the president and not like think he was a fucking rock star and buy his flags and
that is dumb, right?
T-shirts and
there are people that are in the bag for the government, the corporations, and the media now. They're like, really like, we just need to trust the president and our government and the news and fucking the government's propped up scientists and like this propaganda machine. Like that is the system now that people are defending.
It's fucking
the
insane.
Big corporations. We need to, like, when did the left become the ones that are fully agreeing with the biggest corporations on earth? Is it maybe just because they're all just happen to be right about this issue? Could be. But I doubt it.
Who's to say?
But I doubt it. It's my podcast, so I say no.
God, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just wild, like coming from like a small ass town when you growing up, you know, like you saw a cop, oh, it's the cops, run away, and now you get all these people that are like, you know what, I support my boys in blue and the president and all they're about to But at the same time, if one of these people tells you to do something, you're like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Absolutely.
Doodly daddly doodly. Fucking small town mentality bullshit.
So,
oh yeah. Sorry.
Beat those dogs. We got a new sponsor I want you guys to check out here today. I was supposed to work this in earlier. I didn't bring it up, but we'll start speaking on this on a regular basis. Go to Netty Games. You can find this in our description as well. But I believe it's nettygames.com. If it's not, it might be Shop Netty or something. Just use the fucking description in our shit. Okay,
N-E-D-D-Y.
It'll be in the thing on YouTube. It'll be in the description on all your podcast playing apps as well. But go to that website. You can use that link, or you can use codename Randy to get at checkout to get 10% off of this. It is a conspiracy theory board game, and they sent us each a copy, and it's fucking pretty fun. And so we'll bring it up and we'll do some walkthrough stuff. We had to get through these bits today, but we'll do some kind of walkthrough. We'll fire a couple random questions out from us, so you guys get a hint for it. But it's cool shit. It's a fun game. We kind of
really well made.
Yeah. Like for real.
Yeah.
It is. I will tell you this. It is much better made than the Risk and Monopoly game. Like, you know, as far as like rigidness, like this game like makes sense. My shit. I played Risk the other day. I roll the dice and like all the guys fall. Like the whole thing just is shit. It's a well-made, good, fun game on some subject matter that's fun. It's done in a way that's interesting. It's not divisive necessarily.
It doesn't come at it from like, look at these wackadoos.
Well, and also not totally on a factual basis. It's like, what is the theory that's this? So it's like it's totally it's fun.
You can have fun with it.
Yeah, and so it's cool. It's good price. You can get 10% off using code name Randy. So Netty Games, conspiracy theory game. They've got a couple other things there too, like expansion pack, and there's also a travel edition we got too. That maybe that's what we'll bring up. So check it out. It's in the description. Check them out, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Probably. Maybe we'll do one this weekend. We'll feel it out.
Cool.
I am Tyler. You can find me on Instagram at Tyler F. and Stone.
I'm at Skinny Idiot Studios.
And you can follow the show at Conspiracy Randy on Instagram. We also started a TikTok. I don't know how it goes. I just parrot a bunch of the same shit that I do on Instagram, just hoping that something will get 50,000 followers. I don't know. Thanks, guys. We love you. Conspiracy Randy podcast playlist soundtrack.
Gonna let you hope. That's the hope you fucking don't. Now go along and tie that rope. Hanging with your buddy